Good morning, everybody. Mike Wright, Edge Home Finance. I'm super honored today to have Bill Owens Jr. from eXp Realty as our Realtor of the Week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I know we have gotten a number of people from Tyler's team on here, and you're another cog in a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a great team, and then also a great person to be a mentor for me too. So
well, and it's that pod that we've always talked about in that group is so cool to watch because the systems that he has in place, the people that are mentors in that group.
Yeah.
And we'll dive into that a little bit later. But tell us a little bit about you, my friend. We got you're married.
Yep, I'm married to my wife Nicole. We have 4 daughters, between 12 and 18, so almost 18. Yeah, so we're extremely busy. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening in our household between activities, boyfriends, and stuff. So it's
What the heck? No gray hairs, no wrinkles. What's happening? What's your secret?
But there's no secret. I run around with like a chicken with my head cut off, and just hope that I get through it. Basically just doing the best I can, and whatever they say goes pretty much. So I kind of.
And I think we all know the underlying person, Nikki. Nikki may be the glue that keeps this whole operation together.
Absolutely.
Props to you, Nikki.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, without her, we'd be in trouble for sure, and that definitely helps me out a lot. Which I'm grateful for it substantially. But
you got a beautiful family. I applaud you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, they are definitely the reason why I do what I do and work as hard as I do. So
I love it. It. So I know how you got into the business, but give me the background. Obviously you had a pops that has been in the business for 35 years?
Yeah, 35 plus. So he started in 1986. And so he started in 1986, and he started working at Coldwell Banker Burnett at the time.
Got it.
It could have been even a little bit different name at that time, I think, too. But it's in Eagan. He's been there. He was there the whole time.
It was Burnett back in the day.
Yeah, it was Burnett.
Yep.
Yeah. And so he worked there. He's been there forever. And, it was something that I always wanted to get into, and he's like, it's a grind. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and I wasn't honestly ready at that time, but he got into it, and he excelled. He did really well. And it's just something, I would give him a hard time all the time and say, hey, you just sit there and read a newspaper. Like, what are you doing? Because we drop by with me and my brother and my mom. I'd be like, what are you doing? You just reading a newspaper? And he's like, no, it's more than that.
Well, it sounds like the people with this litigation garbage, you guys don't do anything. Right, you just make big commissions,
I know.
right?
If it was so simple.
Yeah, I mean, if no late nights, 40-hour, or almost 80-hour, 90-hour weeks. But so he got you into the business.
Yeah.
You went from Coldwell Banker. So tell me how that transition was for you, being young and adaptable. It was probably pretty easі.
Yeah.
How was it for him?
So that's kind of the thing. So I got into the business almost just about 3 years ago almost. So he had been there forever, and he's was working there, and I was kind of looking at everything, and it was kind of in the process of during COVID and everything. There wasn't a lot of people in the building and so forth. But then I also was just kind of looking like, how am I going to learn? How can I become better? I mean, obviously I have my dad. I mean, he's fantastic. He's been in the business for 35 plus years. So I'm going, okay, so this is a great opportunity to learn from him.
Props, Bill Sr.
Yeah, no, he's great. I mean, without him, I probably wouldn't have excelled at the pace that I have, because it is a difficult industry.
Yeah, it is.
And so for me, I just, was just looking at everything. I was looking at it all as far as the finance piece, how we can market it better, how can we bring this, because when people are working with us, they're working with us, not the company, right?
Correct.
And so the thing is, we weren't able to, put ourselves out there as far as distinguishing who we really are, in my opinion, at least at that point. And so for him, he had been in the business and just was like, all right, he's an introvert.
Methodical.
He is, but he's an introvert. And what's weird is that people are like, how is he so successful with being such an introvert?
Wow.
He's so routine based, everything. And he's just, I'm the opposite. I'm more extrovert, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, a good mix for me and him. But, I just kind of was looking out at different companies, and then, I saw Tyler Miller's video. I saw a couple other people's from EXP, and I just was like, okay, let me see what this is. And so I really broke down the different companies, and I was pretty methodical myself when it came to breaking down like specifically how this would help us, how it would help our clients. And, after breaking it down, we were losing so much money to the company that we could have used for ourselves to market, but also for our clients to do different things for them.
Yeah.
And so when I broke it down with him that way, he's like, this is your baby. He's like, I'm here to help you in an admin role, maybe go out and show stuff like that. And he's like, if you think this is the right decision, and, he saw, and he's like, yeah. He's like, I should have done this a lot earlier myself.
So was the whole avatar world, where you got the classroom and you got the lessons, was that kind of a hard?
Nah, I think the transition anytime with change is a little bit different.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little bit easier because I was just like, here we go.
Yeah.
But my dad, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was maybe for a few days.
Yeah.
And then after he started going, he was like, okay, it's not so bad.
It's pretty cool, actually. It's a very amazing platform that they've developed. So how did you end up with Tyler Miller? So, Tyler, I have to apologize. Normally, I'd have your lid on. Anytime I get a person from your team, I've got to have your hat on. So I apologize today. I don't have it.
Yeah, well, he's our sponsor. So, he's within the team. So we're right below him with Owens Real Estate.
Yep.
And so the biggest thing with him is that, as someone that I wanted to, I kind of wanted to reach out to someone that was kind of in my age group demographically and just kind of see how they're doing business and stuff. And so being with the North Star Alliance, being within that group really helped me because it put me in a position where I can learn from a lot of the great people that we have here. And so, with my dad working more of on an administrative role with me, and then having Tyler, being able to talk to him about different things, TK, even
AJ.
Parker, AJ, even Parker, which is fantastic. There's not many people that would be able to reach out to someone to that level in this industry and be able to ask him about business without, feeling like they're competing with them.
It's super cool. I've had the honor of interviewing many of you, right?
Yeah.
Brady, we just had on.
Yeah, fantastic.
And the coolest part of that conversation with him was when he was hanging out with Dan Droschers, and Dan said, how many hours do you think you work? And, Brady's like, I don't know, 40, 50. He said, really? You think that's all you work? And they analyzed, and it got to be 60, 70. But the passion and the love for what you do, it doesn't really seem like work. And I think with the crew you're around, that helps tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. Who you surround yourself with. My goal is to get to the point where those people are. And so being that I'm at the lower level, which is great because I want to surround myself with people where I want to be.
Right.
And so being around those type of people to push you, to motivate you, to be able to, reach out to, have questions. I have my dad I can reach out to, and then I have them, which it's a great old school, new school kind of thing together. Has just really worked out well. And it really, for me, I'm very fortunate. It's not many people have the ability to have a mentor like my dad, but then reach out to people like Tyler, AJ, TK, Parker. Like that's just, people don't get that ability, and that to have that and to be able to group that has that kind of, ability of people it's just amazing.
How about their systems? I know all about the back end. Their systems that they have in place. What are your thoughts?
They're good. I think it really comes down to each individual. Like for me with the buyer consults, the things like that, I think any kind of systems so we do things a little different. He has his systems and so forth, and I've kind of changed mine up a little bit. But I think that systems in general, I think is just really kind of focusing on the individual and making sure that you really, really harness what they're looking for as a client. I know for me, a lot of people, if you try to do a one size fits all, it ends up usually backfiring. And I think the biggest thing is just being present, communication, honesty, and being there all the time for them, and being able to help them, support them through this big journey and this big purchase that they have or what they're looking to do and nurturing that relationship afterwards. I think so many people look at it from the standpoint of a transaction, and it's not. It's a relationship, and it's something you want to sustain over a period of time, because each of the clients I've helped, so many of them have said, so I probably won't see you for a while. I'm like, well, nope, you'll actually be seeing me quite a bit. Yeah. I'll be reaching out to you. I'm not going to leave your side. So whatever you need, let me know. Maintain that relationship.
Well, I think it all gets, and I think that it expands between the client, but it's also the listing agents and other partners as well, right?
Yeah.
It's how do we, instead of doing this, how are we partners, right?
Yeah.
Because we all want to get to the end zone.
Right.
And the most important person is the client.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, it's not always about me win. It's about working together to get to that point, like you said. And I think, honestly, so many times is building that relationship before you're even looking at a house or whatever with your client, but then also the listing agent, reaching out to them and communicating right away. I think the biggest mistake a lot of agents make is they don't talk to the agent prior to looking at the house and doing those types of things, because as soon as you start forging that relationship, it helps, and they know who you are, and it helps in the transaction.
It's all partnership, right?
It is.
But I think that trust, having them realize who you are and the value you take, because you're as concerned about the sellers as your buyers.
Yeah.
Because you all want to get to the end zone.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is just explaining it to both sides of the client too, especially in my clients. I always want to tell them, like, imagine if you were selling this property, what you would think. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's view it from that perspective as well, because we have to make sure this is a win-win for both sides.
So speaking of the clients, how are you getting out to them? I mean, are you a dialer? Are you an open house?
No.
Are you, go shake hands in the neighborhood? What's your mojo?
Yeah. So my dad, back in the day, he's always in mailers. Every quarter did mailers. All of his clients reached out to his clients, did that. And so we kind of harnessed that. But then also what I do is I'm really about getting out there. So like for me, I'm out there, and I do about 93. I did 93 networking meetings this year, going out and shaking hands, meeting people, doing that in every part of the industries. My clients, I go out there on their 1-year anniversary, say hi to them, drop them off something nice at their property. Just communicating with them constantly. And what's happened is a lot of times those people will refer me clients. Like within the last year, we've gotten referred 15 to 20 people just based on that. We don't ask for business. We just do the best we can to serve our clients. And I think when you do that and you come from a place of showing how much you care, they see that value and they want to give that to their friends and family. And so that's really what I do. And my dad kind of does the same thing. But I mean, it's just being out there, being present, and openly communicating constantly.
That's so cool to hear too. Like you said, your dad does it too. So I think and Jake and I have had this discussion a lot, where there's a certain part of us all that are introverts.
Yeah.
You get home and you just go, phew,
yeah.
But in our real world, you have to get out and about. And I think your father's, does that as well. He realized the importance of the client.
It is. And I mean, no one's going to know who you are if you sit behind a desk and you sit at home all day.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go out, you have to be present, you have to be, out there, and it can be overwhelming at times and uncomfortable, but that's part of the business. And that's, again, to your point, do you really work 30, 25 hours? No. You really are working all the time.
Yeah, right.
You don't get to, I have to miss a lot of things with my kids and stuff, and they understand that. But there's also times where I'm available where a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, because you get that flexibility.
Yeah.
How has the family been? Has that been a big? You got a full house.
I do. So, we have a lot of things going on all the time. So with the kids, but I would say the one thing that's fantastic is that coming from being that I was in that kind of lifestyle myself my whole life with my family. It's been an adjustment for my wife, but I think, because she was like, how is the business going to come in? What's going to happen? How's this work? And I'm like, you see my dad, he does pretty well. And I'm a little bit more out there than him. And so, that took a little time, but it's one of those things where it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but all in all, I think the flexibility it creates for me to be present in certain parts of the day and things that I can do and what it's offered for us financially, I think it's been pretty amazing.
Beautiful. How you got in COVID?
Yeah.
I mean, that had to be a wicked start.
It was. So it was crazy. And so, and that same thing kind of happened to me in the mortgage industry when I got into that a while back when the rates were so low, like 17,
Everybody
16, it was like that. And then it went down and I actually excelled when it was down, which was crazy. So I think I think it was good for me because it helped me understand kind of, the chaos that was going on, what was going on, and realizing what was good and what wasn't.
Yeah.
The waiving inspections, the 50 offers, this and that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But I think it created a lot of perspective where, I focused on giving value as opposed to being the quick fix like a lot of people did.
Amen.
And I think that's the part that will separate a lot of the agents these upcoming years. Like, I'm excited for 2024. I think it's going to be a fantastic year.
I agree.
And I think so many people are so worried about it. And like, I'm the opposite. I'm really excited because I think it's going to be an opportunity for so many people to just create so much value for their clients. And I just think the industry is going to be really good.
What does your father think as these rates do drop? I mean, are we going to get back into the waiving of the inspections and the appraisal waivers and all this stuff that kind of got gross for a while because the 25 offers, that type of thing? What do you think? What's been the talk?
I think we're going to see it a little bit. But I think we're going to see it. I think there's going to be a lot of people coming out. And I think we're going to get the wave of inspections. But I think the other thing we need to keep in mind, too, is that I think a lot of people became understanding that it is important to have the inspection. While some people got lucky and that didn't have much of an issue, I think it's important that we really, really stress how important it is to have that because this is a huge investment. And you don't want a client to remember that you said you should do this or this. Now, I always tell my clients, I'm like, you know what? If you really want this, this is probably what you need to do to get it.
Yeah.
Here's what I recommend, but here's what you're probably going to have to do. But again, if it gets as crazy as it does, I don't think it'll be as crazy as it was before. But I do think you're going to see probably, quite a few waived.
It's going to be a riot.
It is.
I mean,
it's going to be a riot.
I am excited. So much of what I've read, yes, rates are going to drop as we get into an election year. The feds have tamed inflation.
Yeah.
We will see these rates drop. Does that create more inventory? I think is the number one deal, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it will. I mean, I think we're so far behind with inventory that I don't know that we're going to see the influx of inventory that we need for the amount of buyers that might be coming in the market.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope we do. It's hard to say. I mean, because either way, I'm going to be wrong, right?
Well, and I know TK was a big advocate of pillars, right? 5 pillars, 4 pillars. He says he's got an extra 2 that he would, if he told me, he'd have to, kill me type deal. But I mean, I think that those are so important to nurture constantly.
Yes.
Almost as important as you getting out, like you talked about with your networking. What type networking events do you like to do? Family events? I mean, are you fine to your kids or deal with that stuff?
So I do a lot of coffee meetings, I do a lot of lunches, but then also I'm out in kids events with gymnastics and dance all the time. So gymnastics, dance, so I'm always out there. They have their stuff, so it's always an opportunity to do stuff and talk to people.
That's great.
We try to do a lot of the community things. We do Feed My Starving Children, me and my wife, with our kids and stuff like that, which I think is fantastic, especially with the kids doing that a couple of times a year. They need to see the value of giving back. And, I just try to find the different things that are out there and about that we can do, and then just interact with the people in the community. But I honestly, I really just focus on trying to get one-on-one attention with different people in any kinds of walk of business, because everything is related to real estate, right?
Yep.
I could talk to a construction person. I can talk to anybody, either owning or renting, or you're living with someone who has that, or even if you're in a business of, being movers or, just anything.
Yeah. Well, you can always learn.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that Jake and Brady have an amazing podcast, right?
They do,
which is fantastic because they've reached out to people, whether it's a dog groomer, they just were out in LA.
Yeah.
It's crazy how these opportunities open up themselves.
Absolutely.
So the more you do, the more your opportunities are going to go.
That is. And my words for this last year were doing gratitude and uncomfortable. And so I did a lot of those things. I was like, it was crazy. I went and did a plunge where basically I sat in the cold ice water in one of the lakes for 3 minutes and sat there in the middle of winter. Never thought I'd like it. I loved it, and now I do ice baths.
Perfect.
So, doing those things, doing the networking, which is going out and doing 93 of those meetings. It's like a lot of people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, well, you know what? In the beginning, it was a little difficult, but you end up enjoying and, like you said, learn so much from other people. And that's the part. That's so amazing.
I think Gary Vee said it best.
Yes.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You have to.
You know what I mean? I mean, our business is, for me doing this, was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Thank God for Jake. And I tell, everybody this all the time because the guy has been motivating me. And I've done this probably as old as he is. You know what I mean? But yet constantly he's pushing, and I love that. So
yeah,
I applaud you for doing what you do.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So give me a couple pieces of advice. Are you looking at growing your team, or is it, are you good right now? What are you thinking?
We're good right now, and I think right now my dad is really kind of taking a step back where he does the administrative stuff because he likes doing that stuff right now. I mean, he's like pretty much 70 now, so he's like, I like the administrative. He likes the mundane stuff of that part of it, and I like getting out there and doing stuff. So, if we get a little bit bigger, I think, we'll probably have to get a buyer's agent at some point. One of my daughters, so I have almost an 18 and one that will be 16, and my 16-year-old, she's like, well, I kind of want to get into real estate. So I'm like, all right, well, in 2 years, hopefully I'll be big enough to incorporate that. But she's interested in that. But I think, we would like to grow maybe 1 or 2 people, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Because we want to really keep that balance of being able to, serve, but then also have our family time and do that kind of stuff and have the flexibility of that kind of stuff as well.
I think it speaks volumes. We always talk on how hard we work, but what you've done with your family, which I just admire so much, when you work your ass off, right? Mm-hmm. Both you do.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you also expanded to giving back. And these kids see this stuff, right? They know you're not just sitting around being a load.
Right.
Right? And all of a sudden you get the what a rewarding experience to say, Dad, I maybe want to be a realtor.
I know.
You're saying you're saying what senior said is
right.
Oh, this is pretty tough, right. Honey. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I know. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? But yeah, no, it's great. It's really good. I mean, that's the one thing that I think is the most rewarding thing is seeing them kind of take on some of the things that you're doing, that your positive traits of yourself. I know for me, like I read a lot, and I never expected my kids to take that on, or even some of the positive affirmation type stuff. But then they started doing that stuff, and I'm just like,
beautiful.
Like, wow.
Well done, Pops.
Yeah, right.
And I know you guys got Max and you got Brady. So for your daughter to come in, start getting licensed, and she may help you social media wise because they're so brilliant with this stuff.
Are.
Do you like that? Are you a big social media guy?
So I post a lot. I need to get on video more. I need to do that more. That's one of the things for 2024 that I'm planning on doing myself. Hopefully creating a YouTube channel. And getting out on video much more frequently. I think that's the way you're going to have to do business, and
it's the way your team is trending.
Yeah,
and the touches and staying top of mind. I know Jake has been extremely instrumental in teaching a lot of this stuff. If you ever need help, Jake is around, and but your crew is so good. I mean, it's like you said, Brady and Max, and they're the Monday updates easy.
Yeah,
and they have some fun with it.
They do.
I'm not going to be doing any cartwheels or any of this other madness. But I mean, on the flip side, just be you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be those guys.
Absolutely. That's the thing. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's just doing it, and that's one of those things where you just got to do it. And once you do it, it's fine, and then you get that uncomfortable out of the way, and then you're fine in doing it. And that's that's something that 2024 for sure is going to be something that I really harness.
I love it. I keep bringing up Jake like he's right here with us for crying out loud, But we just had that conversation with me. He said, "Dude, you know what to do?
Yeah,
just do it."
Right.
And so I think we all know what to do. So dive into it for 2024.
Yeah.
How about give us a couple pieces of nuggets for agents that are getting into the business? Your daughter may be listening as well. Mm-hmm. What pieces would you tell them that maybe road bumps for you that maybe helped or hindered you?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is really just create a routine. Be focused on, how you want to grow your business and what you want to do and what your niche is. And don't worry about what you might leave out, but focus on that and just stay consistent. Because consistency and discipline is really what you need in this business. That's like the two top things, I think. And then just because you don't see results doesn't mean it's not happening. It takes time. It's a time business. Yes, there's success that you can have right away. But also remember, it usually takes 1 to 2, 3 years to get going in this business. So just understand that if you keep doing it and coming every day and showing up, that the business will come as long as if you stay focused and disciplined.
I love you bringing that up because we talk about this every podcast. Patience, consistency, and persistent.
Yep.
And I think that I always use the acronym CARE.
Yep.
Create a referable experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
How do you do that? Because it has to be about the clients, everyone. I mean, we all know this, but a paycheck's a wicked thing.
It is.
You know what I mean? I mean, that can be, I'm going to make a ton of money. Well, don't think about that, right?
Yeah.
Don't think about the money. Just think about the care for everybody.
Yeah.
And you've succeeded at it, my friend. I
appreciate it.
I applaud you not only for your business, but your family legacy. Mm-hmm. That's solid, buddy.
It's exciting. So now it's just on to build generational wealth and just focusing on other opportunities and things like that, just like everybody else. But yeah,
now you're going to create another realtor under your belt, buddy.
Man, I know. Well, I know what my dad has to deal with when it comes to me. So like now I'm going to have to, I have to deal with that myself, which is going to be crazy.
Nah, what goes around comes around,
right.
My friend. And but I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on as a Realtor of the Week.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I know you it took some time to come down here.
Yeah.
It's one of these weeks where some people are working, some people aren't.
Right.
You are
working,
and well, it's the name of the game, So I appreciate you tremendously.
Yeah,
Bill Owens Jr.
Yeah,
Realtor of the Week.
Yeah,
thank you, my friend,
Thank
tremendously.
you.
And I want to thank everybody here too as well. I say this often: without you guys in this Facebook group, Realtor Connect, we're nothing. So we're approaching 1,000 people. Invite your realtor friends. Hop into this group. Share your listings. Share your wins. Your coming soons. We love it. We've also got a Instagram page and a YouTube channel, Realtor of the Week. All you got to do is Google that, and you'll find it. And then you get to meet with, you get to listen to studs like this that show it's all done. So I appreciate you tremendously.
Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful for it, and I really appreciate taking the time to interview me today.
You got it, Bill. Thank you, friend.
Yep, thank you.